Live. Hello and welcome to Agriculture Live to everybody watching. My name's Rebecca Shields. I'm from Agricultural Recruitment Specialists, and I'm here today with Stuart Dennis from BK Grain, and we're going to be talking about the shortage of agricultural engineers in the industry. If you've got any questions on this or want to join in, please post your questions in the chat and we'll get to them at the end. So let's start with Stuart. Stuart, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yep, I'm Stuart Dennis. I'm a director here at BK Grain. Although recently we're trying to expand our services, so we're now rebranded under BK Commercial Group with various different companies underneath. BK Grain is still our holding company, still the main part of our business. But we do basically a whole bespoke system from floor up, including planning. We have 30 members of staff here, and we do everything in the agricultural industry for construction and engineering, electrical. We have our own fabrication team. And basically we service many farms, not just grain handling. We do cattle buildings, all sorts of buildings, private buildings, offices, workshops. So as a company, we are heavily involved in all things agriculture, basically.
Fantastic. So you've got a lot of strings to your bow there then, Stuart.
Yes, which is obviously why we're trying to keep growing, not too fast so that things go badly wrong or we overstretch ourselves. We've been, as a company, the owners, Bill Bird and his wife Elaine Bird, the originals, started the company in 1981 with a guy called Roy Keep, and then they bought him out about 10 years later. But as a company, we've been very successful in this field since 1981. So wow. we hope we're the go-to company. We have a lot of competitors, but all of our competitors suffer from the same issues that we do, which is recruitment of staff.
Okay, so what makes you, just going back to competitors, what makes you stand out from your competitors, would you say?
Basically the service we give, and especially now, as a director, but also as a salesman and a project manager, I will take a proposal, I'll do the drawings, do all the quoting. We're customer facing from start to finish. We run the jobs. We pride ourselves on finishing all of our jobs on time, on budget. Within, some of them do go over budget, but generally, time, budget, and we're always there. We also offer an engineering service and a breakdown service to our customers, electrical and mechanical. Excuse me. That's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week over the summer. So if any of our farmers have a breakdown on a Friday night, there's none of this. Oh no, they've all gone home, we won't be there till Monday morning. If my engineers aren't available, I will go out. Bill Bird will go out, Simon Bird will go out, he's the other director. Excuse me. So yeah, we give everything to this business, and we give everything to our customers, no matter what day, what night.
Fantastic. So today we're going to be talking about the shortage of agricultural engineers. Now, Stuart, there will be people watching that, aren't from a strong agricultural background. So if you can just start off by just explaining, what is agricultural engineering?
Okay. So agricultural engineering, if you do a course at college, so there's various ones, and I've tied up with a few colleges, is basically working on agricultural machinery. Now, most people and most colleges target combine harvesters and tractors and all of the Gucci kit that's in fields and so on. Our problem is there is no course to learn what we do. So we work on grain dryers. We install silos, elevators and conveyors. Anybody that's been on a farm, especially a grain handling farm, will see them. They're all in the roof. They're all these metal structures that just basically stick up out the ground and move grain around. As I said, it's difficult because unless you come from an agricultural background, you would have no idea. But there's some. It's always been fairly standard, fairly basic stuff. But nowadays, grain industry is really moving 21st century. Everything is electronic now. Everything's, the panels, the control panels, everything is much more involved than it ever used to be, where you just press a button and off an elevator would start, and then you press another button. We now build all of these units so that if one machine stops, everything else stops behind it, so that you don't have grain continue moving, block up all the machines, and then take twice as long to fix a problem because you've got to empty everything out. So we are moving forward with control panels and many more electronic items put into these systems now. But it is, for engineers, it's still relatively basic, which is one of our problems. The other problem is obviously no one knows what we do. I think if people can see us live, the little picture behind me just shows a silo and a dryer outside, and a conveyor going over the top. And that's the basics. They're on every farm that deals with grain. And it's the majority of our job. Unfortunately, I've been with BK Grain and in this industry now for 15 years. I think it's about 15 years to the day, there or thereabouts. And when I came here, we had 12 engineers. We are now down to 6 engineers and 1 engineer running them.
So if you had to say, so there's two different types of ag engineers, you'd say. So yeah. Tell me what the 2 different types are for people watching.
So basically you've got the easiest way to do it. You've got a mobile engineer, which is a guy that works on mobile plant, which is in the farming industry. Obviously you have your combines here, and all of your machinery. And this is a Gucci part of the job, because you've got your lovely combines in the fields, all beautiful. They've broken down. Again, these guys go out 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to fix these machines. And this is what they're taught in the majority at college. I've done a bit of work with Wiltshire College and Sparsholt College, and we have taken some apprentices from them in the past, where you can do a little bolt-on course, which then teaches what we do, which is ours is fixed machinery. Okay. So it's all the stuff you can see in the back. We work on dryers. We work with fire, lots of fire burners, because that's how we dry grain. Generally oil fire, but we do gas fired as well. Because we work on farms, we don't need Corgi engineering. We don't need to be Corgi registered. Pipe work up to it is done by somebody else. They're Corgi registered, and then we come in and we can do our bit. And we test all of these. We service them yearly to ensure that they're all safe. And it's an insurance company proviso that all of this kit is serviced every year, and our engineers go out and do this, and we're trained by certain people. Our engineers have literally came off a course on Wednesday and Thursday last week, where they went with the suppliers of the equipment, and were taught all the changes that have been made, and we do that every year.
So you've got your fixed and your mobile machinery, is what you're saying, in terms of the time.
And ours, unfortunately, are generally, well, not unfortunately, generally inside. But they're dusty atmospheres. Obviously, we have all the protection, safety. Yeah. As an aside, I'm a fully qualified health and safety advisor, so that I ensure the safety of our guys via courses, education, and then PPE that everything is done right. The only good thing that comes of ours on a rainy day, you can be indoors working, not outside in a field knee deep in mud.
So I know with your fixed machinery, you struggle to recruit agricultural engineers, and I think across the industry, whether it's fixed or it's the actual moving machinery, there is a lack of agricultural engineers for jobs. So why do you think there is a lack of agricultural engineers? What's the reason behind it, would you say?
It's probably the $1 million question, and the person that can answer that can do. I think our biggest problem is we've got a change in workforce. So we need. I'm older, I've come up. We've been knee deep in rubbish and dust, and just carried on. We have a completely different mindset for the new generation that we as an industry now need to change. We need to make sure that everything on farms are generally regarded as very unsafe places. If you look at HSE statistics, more people die on farms than anywhere else. This is not more people, but a percentage across the industry, because there's not many people.
It's the most dangerous career path.
Most dangerous, yes. As listed by the HSE. The mindset's changing. The old farm guard obviously are now retiring, and I myself am not a million miles away, but because I come from a health and safety background, I have a different philosophy to this. We're still having to send guys into places that really they shouldn't be going on occasions. We take every precaution. Because of the lack of money and the lack of investment in certain farms. Look, that we've got some very rich farm customers. Excuse me. And unfortunately, we've got some very poor ones.
So obviously the environment might not be good that they're working in. And do you think that the younger generation doesn't want to work in that environment? Is that the reason?
I unfortunately don't. I'm not in recruitment. I do my best to recruit. I think this is down to somebody on a different pay scale to mine to try and work people into this industry. I think our problem is there aren't many people left living in the country that fully appreciate what agriculture does. So it's not seen as the main, engineers want to go into engineering, and Gucci engineering obviously starts at rockets, comes down to aerospace, drops down to tanks probably, and other Gucci kit like that, and then we're at the very bottom end. Then wherever you go, there's some great engineering jobs, and I would guess anyone getting into engineering wants to aim for the top, and then unfortunately aspirations and job opportunities lower down. And I think unfortunately we're perceived in our industry as being, well, people probably don't get agriculture because it's just a field, and why would you need an engineer? And most people that want jobs come from towns and they've never seen a farm, so it's not in their psyche as an engineer. The only people that generally do, the people we picked up before, fathers have worked in the agricultural industry, so the sons have gone to agricultural college.
It is very much a generational thing, isn't it? Like, I'm not from an agricultural background, but being in this industry, there's so many people, and it's just because their family members did it. There aren't many I think if they did a percentage, I don't think it's a lot that are from non-farming backgrounds.
No, and also when you think with the movement of all of the farm machinery and the rest of it, there's probably a tenth of the people in farming that were in it 100 years ago.
Yeah.
So we have a much smaller audience now that we're trying.
And the thing is as well, Stuart, with that, you've got the fact that, I know I've been doing agricultural recruitment since probably about 2010. And I've noticed, obviously, because of the supply and demand situation, the salaries for agricultural engineers have just really skyrocketed. I think if people would be asking me for career advice, it wouldn't be a bad sector to go in.
No, absolutely, and it's the same with a lot of children. A lot of kids now. Some of the best jobs now are the ones that nobody saw as attractive. Being a plumber, being an electrician, being a builder now are attracting some absolutely great salaries. We've got a groundworks division. These guys are earning loads of money for simply sitting on a digger, or running around on site. And you look at it and you go, wow, I'm paying a lot of money for a guy. But these are becoming the jobs that, because nobody's doing them, that are there. I mean, our biggest problem is we need people to work, unfortunately, over the summer, which is when everybody wants to go on their holidays, because we have to supply the farmer because this is how we run our business. So the more guys I can do, the less can attract, the less overtime we've got to go. Last year I had 6 guys. I only had 6. No, I had 5 engineers last year. And those and us throughout all weekend, working 7 days a week, unfortunately. Now,
I think that's the thing as well, like people having to work weekends. They don't want to do it now, as people, want the work-life balance more.
100%. And look, and none of your mates are in agriculture, particularly if you're an engineer and work for BK Grain. So your mates are going out on a Friday night and Saturday night and Sunday and going to watch a football, going to watch a rugby, going to watch whatever during the summer. And you can't do that because I'm expecting you to work, unfortunately. So what we're trying to do as a business is attract more people. We have to deal with that over the winter. Because there isn't the work there in the winter, because it is very much a seasonal job. We have been busy for the last 3 years. We've been pretty well flat out for 3 years, and there isn't any overtime over the winter. So your salary changes from earning a small fortune in the summer, because you can be out. I mean, if you want to, you can be out 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Less sleep, obviously, and safety considerations, and you get paid at time and a half and double time on a Sunday. That's the sort of things we offer. You can earn a lot of money in this industry. The problem is everybody only looks at the bottom line, and it's, I'm only earning 14, 15 pounds an hour. As an engineer, well, I can go into aerospace and earn 20 pounds an hour. But after
the only light at the end of the tunnel, really, like, as a mum myself, years ago, farms were farms, and now they've diversified so much. And there's so many farm parks that people take their kids to.
Absolutely.
So a lot of, say, my children's friends, they're into their tractors and stuff and whatever it is. But maybe this generation will look at agriculture more than, say, we did. I mean, what do you think, if it doesn't change, in terms of more people joining to work in agricultural engineering, what does it mean for the future?
It means it's going to, unfortunately, it's going to die out with our generation. So I'm now 57.
Yeah.
For 15 years, for the whole summer, I worked 7 days a week, unfortunately, but because that is unfortunately what I've got to do to keep it going, because I can't keep asking engineers to come in all the time. So if we don't, our workforce, and we've got some youngsters, and then we've had some really keen youngsters. Unfortunately, the apprentices we've had have all given up with us and gone off. Apologies for somebody on the ceiling getting some parts, obviously. That have gone. So obviously they've come from college. I've managed to nab them at one of the colleges, bring them into us, carry them on as an apprentice. But when they finished and their time with us is up, they've all gone back to work on remote machinery. But you're saying that's struggling as well. I think what we need to do is target the Sparshot colleges, the Wiltshire colleges, to try and somehow we need to push these courses. And
how do we do it? How do we do that? What do we do?
We've just got to make we've got to make it more attractive. Look, the guys I've got here love what they do. They're out, they're on a different farm, they're out, majority of it in different places all day long. You're out in the country, you've got fresh air, you're going somewhere different, you're not in a city, you're not sat in an office, you're not doing the same thing day in, day out. Our guys can do 20 different jobs on 20 different things a week. So the job is good. We have somehow got to sell our industry to youngsters to get them early. The problem is to get them to go to a Lackham College or a Sparshot College. Somebody needs to go in and target them.
I think there's a massive issue in schools here, really. You know, agriculture is one of our biggest industries. You know, we don't want to be having to source from loads of other countries for stuff that we can do here. And, you know, why can't agriculture be on the curriculum, you know, to just like open it,
Rebecca,
it as an option, you know, because people don't know it's such a closed industry. You know, there's talented people out there that don't know about it.
No, absolutely. And if you look at the bigger colleges, you know, you've got Cirencester, so you've got the college there, and there's loads of really good what are now universities that are purely based on agriculture.
Yeah.
But
it's not enough, is it? There's not
enough. Because unfortunately they only develop the higher skilled people. So they're the farm managers. But also you see the problem is all of those colleges, because they've now become universities, are now diversifying and going into other parts rather than still concentrating on just agriculture, which they should be. You know, you're an agricultural university, you should be. They're doing holidays. You know, I've got friends that have gone through there as a standard degree, which we don't need. What they need to be doing is have an engineering course for agriculture, so that you can go to a decent university and get a decent qualification, so that you've got something. The industry is 10 times better than it ever was in the past. We are making those changes. Do you think there's?
Sorry, Stuart, do you think there's enough at political level in terms of, you know, our industry and pushing, you know, this maybe even curriculum or interest in it? Do you think that politicians are even closed off and don't know a lot about agriculture themselves?
No, the majority, other than your agricultural minister. Unfortunately, agriculture in this country isn't a great amount of GDP. For the country as a whole. Sorry, and therefore the government aren't going to give anything to that, because it doesn't. What they're shallow about, what it does do is there can be more farm jobs. Look, we make great wine in this country now. Vineyards in the last 10 years are growing by the minute. It's all agriculture. All of this, we put in machinery for this. This is all stuff that we as a company want to get involved in, because now we're starting to get into the much Guccier parts of what people, you know, if you say to somebody, do you want to go and I offer my engineers, do you want to go and do a breakdown on a farm, or do you want to go and do a breakdown at a vineyard or a brewery? Because exactly the same, the breweries are coming on stream now and using grain and the rest of it, and all the machines. They'll all turn around and go, oh no, I'll go to the brewery, or I'll go to the vineyard. Someone else can go. But the beauty of it is we are now as a company doing all of that, and our competitors are as well. So what we need to get to this audience, which is what's great about what you're doing at the moment, Rebecca, is it allows us to say, if farming is not just about being a rat infested farm with, you know, that's really dangerous. One, we're changing all of that. We go out, our company services 100 farms a year. And every time our guys go there, they fill out a risk assessment, they fill out, and then they advise. I ring up the customer and go, right, I can't fix that machine. It's not safe for my guys to work on. So we're not working on it anymore. The minute that machine breaks down, you're on your own. You can't intake. So we need you to do something about it. So we need to. So we're effectively value engineering or safety engineering as we go around.
Yeah. And then you've got the issue then, you know, of tackling in terms of the safety aspect. I mean, we've spoke about a lot of the reasons why people wouldn't want to consider it, but what are the real benefits of being an agricultural engineer, would you say, Stuart?
The real benefits are you have something different every day. You live and work in places where people spend their time walking. Over a weekend, you'll all go out for a lovely walk in the country. Well, we work in that. We work in those. You have, you know, there's no pollution. We working in a lovely environment. Effectively, sometimes it's a bit smelly because there's cows involved and the sheep involved and the rest. But when you stand there and look around, I mean, I've got, you know, we do lots of new installs, and you take a project and then we build buildings. We put all of this brand new infrastructure in that's safe and it's brilliant, and it is just really good. We as a company are really family friendly. You know, everybody is a name, not a number. We all work together. The lads have got a good camaraderie. They all bounce off, and this is said. Now we've got ground workers, we've got electricians, we've got agriculture engineers, we've got fabricators, we've got CAD designers in the company, we've got all of the office staff based around it, we got project managers and directors like me and the others, and we're happy to chat with the lads. If anyone's got an issue, we will sit down and we will sort it there and then. If somebody
is it easy for people to change from a different industry?
We 100% need engineers from outside of agriculture. At the moment, we've got the same pool generally wandering around. So I steal a guy off of one of my competitors. One of my competitors may steal one of my guys later on. Generally, we as a company, because we're deemed a better employer than the rest, because we've got lots of overtime, because the scope is in our company, we've got to do more to earn more. We all pay about the same, but we offer, you know, much more overtime than everybody else. I have a due diligence to rein that back a little bit, which we know going forward means we'll have to put the hourly rate up. But look, if someone's a good engineer, I want good engineers from outside the agricultural field to feed in to make what we do much better, because otherwise it's just the same people put in. I know what I do, I know how to do what we do. Somebody could come to me and go, well, why don't we do it like that? Because it's much better. No one will at the moment, because we're all set. We've all been doing it for 15, 20, 25 years. We know how we've done it for that long. We need new blood to come along and go, well, in this industry, you know, I come from the water industry. I put parts on tanks. I did it, but we did this with this. And that's what we need. We need to get out of the pool that we've got and bring them on.
Definitely.
You know, I'm a big stalwart for especially guys coming out of the ring, ex-military guys. Job. I'm ex-military myself. I've got a couple of other ex-military guys here. That I'm more than happy. I've tried recruiting from military, but again, it's the same thing. Well, why would I want to come into agriculture? You know, I fixed tanks, I laid bridges, I did this, that, and the other. Well, because we want that. We want engineers from different industries to come here and go, you are fairly backward. We need to start adding new stuff in.
Absolutely. So what other, you know, before we look and see if we've got any questions, you know, what do you think are the biggest issues for agriculture going forward, would you say?
The biggest issue is definitely engineering, and our engineering workforce is aging now, and guys like me leading that.
Generally, the industry is like
Is
that.
aging.
Honestly,
It
Stuart,
is. Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
you know, farm managers are aging, you know, all of that stuff, and we've got to tackle it. And you know, I hope doing
100%.
things. I
Tend-
hope that doing things like this will help
mm,
people, you know, look at, you know, considering this industry. Really, I'm
yeah,
just having
within
a.
10 or 15 years, we can see the death of agricultural engineering,
I
because
mean, it's
the chances of
scary.
it
It's a
being cut.
scary place for us to be, isn't it?
It
I mean,
is.
I'm just looking. I mean, we've had so many comments. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. It's great to hear that people have enjoyed this discussion. I think it's a really interesting subject. We could go off in so many different ways with it.
Absolutely.
And it's given me a lot to think about, probably you, and I'm sure our viewers as well. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And thank you, Stuart.
No, thank you
Um,
for letting me
if
talk.
Absolute pleasure. It's so interesting. If you're watching or you know listening, and you've got an interesting topic in agriculture that you would like to talk about, please get in contact with myself at Agricultural Recruitment Specialists, because it'd be great to have some different people on the show. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody, again. And all that's left to say is goodbye from us.
Thank you and goodbye.